Hello, I'm Dr. Tony Mendoza of Empowerment Center International. I would like to share with you the four-part blessing in a, in a prayer that was prayed by somebody who was ordinary and took on a life that became more than the ordinary, extraordinary. And his life also was that a cursed life. And then uh, it became a life that was filled with favor and blessings. This man started it all with a word of prayer. And I would like us to be able to, um, you know, uh, get treasures out of this word, this prayer that can be found in First Chronicles chapter 4 and verses 9 and 10. Let me read it for you. Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. His mother named him Jabez and said, I gave birth to him in pain. Jabez called out to the God of Israel, If only you would bless me, extend my border, let your hand be with me, and keep me from harm, so that I will not cause any pain. And God granted his request. I'd also like to read from the second chapter of First Chronicles, and it goes like this. It's in verse 56, 55, and it goes, and Jabez, uh, and the families of the scribes who lived in Jabez, the Therathites, Shemathites, and Succothites. Jabez, that name was given to him by his mother because he brought her pain uh, from the time that he was born, or maybe even before he was born. So, and also, Jabez also meant sorrow. Son, you brought me sorrow when you came to this world, both sorrow and pain from you. And so that name was given by his mother to him as a baby. It was more of a curse, not a blessing. And there are many reasons why are given probably for this naming, cursing that was given to him. This cursed name of Jabez could be a delinquent father, prodigal father, could be any other reason. But then Jabez said, I'm sick and tired. I want my life to be switched from curse to blessing. I want the God of Israel, my God, our God, to to take notice of me. The God of Israel, was noted to fight for his sons and daughters. And so you be the Lord of my barren life. And so he prayed first for the B in the B blessing. B is bless me indeed. I need your blessing. Bless me indeed. I need more blessing than the ordinary. And, you know, uh, God, you're the God of Israel who helps us. So help me to get out of this curse. Help me to get out of this rut, this cycle of poverty, this cycle of misfortune. And you know what? God answered his prayer. In fact, the blessing was so much that what we just read said that Jabez was more honorable than his brothers. Be more honorable means to be wealthier, to be more known than others, and to have a good reputation. So that's what God gave Jabez in his prayer for more blessings, for to bless me indeed. And would you want that for yourself, for your life, to for God to bless you indeed? And let that be your prayer. It had been my prayer. And God gave me blessing in many ways, uh, spiritual, financial, family. My son is a great has enjoyed great success in his business. uh, did not finish his college education, and many things not going for him. He was not really a good student, and he didn't really have that drive to succeed. But God heard our prayers, and he blessed him, our son, and blessed us as well in many ways. The second part of Jabez's prayer was, Lord, enlarge my territory, expand my border. And you know what happened? God did expand his territory. You see, territory at the time meant lands, and more of it, lots of it. And so we find in the same book, First Chronicles, chapter 2, in verse 55, it says this: And the families of scribes who lived in Jabez. What? Jabez, who uh, had no land, who had no possessions to start with. He started with a cursed name, and went on with a life that affirmed that curse in his life. Now, in answer to his prayer for expanded territory, God gave him a city. Let's call it a city, because at that time, cities and instead of towns, you know, uh, to accommodate the kind of s- uh, city Jabez was, it says here, uh, it contained Therathites, Sukkothites, and Tirathites. You know what that means? It would be a community of scribes. Scribes were scholars and advisors, and these three types of people were gatekeepers. That means they were officials in the government. I mean, you would put officials of the government in a village, and they were also listeners. That means they were magistrates or judges or counselors, advisors to officials, to kings. And so you wouldn't put them in a tiny town. No, you would need a city to accommodate these government officials. And it says here that they were also prophets, uh, people who heard from God and spoke the words of God, spoke the blessings of God. And so they needed a big place to accommodate the people who would want to be blessed, who would want to be with God and know God. And so, besides answering his prayer for expanded territory or lands, it also meant expansion of influence. And Jabez certainly became an asset, not a liability, in his nation, in through that community called Jabez. And besides that, God promoted him, so he became more honorable than his brothers. God educated him. He became uh, reputable as a scholar. He became so respected and famous that people sought him out. People who were also scribes also came to him for advice. And so God indeed raised them up. Indeed, if we humble ourselves to God, God will lift us up. But if we come to God in pride, in self righteousness, God will humble us. So let's come to God and ask Him, Lord, bless me indeed. Lord, help me expand my territory, expand my influence. I want to help more people. Thank you that through your blessing on me, I can be a blessing to many more people in so many needs and so many situations. And if that's what you want, then God bless you. And I'd like to declare that indeed you will be blessed indeed, and you too will have an expanded territory of possessions and influence for God. I trust that you enjoy the Word of God and that it had been a blessing to you. Next lesson, if the fourth lesson, I'm going to continue our series of the B blessing. You just heard the BE part, the bless me indeed and the enlarge or expand my territory. When we see each other again in lesson four, we will uh, understand what the E and the P part of the B blessing is. So you would want to be here for that. I'll see you in our next Blessed to be a Blessing lesson. God bless you.